Hey folks, it's Mike Ryan, and if you're watching our show, you've probably known your boy has undergone a little bit of a body transformation, and I gotta tell you, Peloton has helped me on my fitness journey. It got the ball rolling for me because I watch my wife on the Peloton. She takes all these great classes. She has her favorite instructors. I listen to the music. I'm a big music guy. It gets me fired up, makes me want to take part in this fitness phenomenon known as Peloton. Peloton offers a variety of challenging classes, from 4-week strength building classes to running, cycling, and everything in between. Peloton will help you achieve your goals, and maybe you'll have some fun along the way. I know I have. It's backed by thousands of members whose lives have been changed. Be part of that group. Telling you, I'm better for it. Have it in my office. Sometimes I can put on the baseball game. Sometimes I can put on a soccer match. Some other times I'm totally locked in on an emo playlist. Find your push. Find your power with Peloton at onepeloton.com.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
I'm a big fan of musicals.
Get out of here.
Big fan.
I hate musicals.
I love musicals.
That's my boy, Roy.
I hate musicals.
I'm with you.
What about Disney movies, Roy?
I hate Disney movies.
Disney movies?
You don't like Frozen?
No. I like Soul.
Soul was great.
Soul was good.
Soul was awesome.
I did not like
Soul was very good.
What's the one?
You didn't like Soul?
No.
Why?
It was not that profound.
What the f*** are you talking about?
And comes back to life.
Yeah, bro.
There's
Listen,
like a 3-year,
that statute of statute of limitations is up on Soul. That came out during the pandemic.
Yeah, no.
You said it's not profound?
The guy dies.
We're talking about mortality here. Welcome to the Hockey Show. My name is Roy Bellamy. That's David Trock of the Hockey News. We have Rosie and Ethan in the shipping container, and we are all unhappy. We will get to why
I'm
we
very
are
happy. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
I am unhappy, actually, because you will know my fail of the week.
It's a similar feeling to last June.
Yeah.
To the final a little bit.
Yeah.
We should have been really happy after game 2, and we weren't.
Yeah, there's one instance on why we are unhappy, and we will get to that with Adnan Virk later in the show. But first, I can't even say we can lighten the mood with this because apparently Spencer Knight can't find a house. Play the video.
So right when I got here, I started looking at places to live because living in a city is different than living in, say, a suburb where it's, okay, guys live in this one suburb. It's 10 minutes to the rink. All right, which house do you like? There's townhomes, there's condos, there's duplex downs, there's single family homes, there's high-rise apartments. There's a train next to one apartment. I don't like that. That's weird. I don't know why they're above ground and so loud all the time. So I don't like that. I don't want to live in a place that has super loud like that. Okay, this street's loud, this street's not. This street's a one-way. There's someone above me here. The floors are thin. There's so many little things that go into living in a city that seem, actually, you don't think of when you're just in Florida when you're in a house and you're just I have my house and this is my spot. The only thing bothering me might be the lizards in Florida in my backyard.
Poor Spencer Knight. The former future of this franchise in Florida is now the current goaltender in Chicago, and he's having a hard time trying to find a place to live.
I'm torn. Part of me obviously feels for the guy, but part of me is dude, you have options.
Clearly,
what
I learned from this video is he's never seen Blues Brothers because he didn't know that there are apartments in Chicago that are right next to the L train, just like Elwood Blues' apartment in Blues Brothers, where the train comes by.
Reference.
So often you won't even notice.
Yeah,
no, it's often.
Yeah, you can fall asleep through it now. It's just like a record.
We need that, but that's a better point, I think. If Spencer Knight hasn't seen Blues Brothers, between the fact that it's a classic and the fact that he lives in Chicago.
He's only 2 years younger than me. He can't use the excuse that, I'm too young to have seen Blues Brothers. First of all, there's no age that's too young to have seen Blues Brothers. There's no age that you should always have seen Blues Brothers once you pass the age of 16 years old, I would say.
It's part of the fabric of Chicago. And it's the best musical of all time, in my opinion.
Best musical of all time.
I like.
That's right. Of all time.
I would agree with you, Roy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Not Chicago. Certainly not Moulin Rouge.
What about the producers?
Mulan?
Rouge.
Get out of here with Hamilton. Have you seen them play the theme song from the TV show Rawhide? Nay.
I'm ashamed to say that I've
Bob's
never
Country
seen
Bunker.
It. I've never seen Hamilton.
rolling.
Like I feel like I'm like the only person.
Stand by your man.
All right, you guys are.
Yeah, you got me started on Blues Brothers, and you lost me.
Yeah, that's Chicago.
Hockey.
No more musical talk.
All right, fine. Let's move on to a bit that they did on Inside the NBA. TNT loves to do a crossover between the NBA and the NHL because they got to. At this point, they have to because they're losing the NBA, so they got to do that. So
lean into hockey.
Yeah, lean into hockey. Inside the NBA, promoting the brothers over there across the studio at the hockey side, had Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, and Charles Barkley shooting pucks on Shaquille O'Neal in front of the net. Unfortunately,
going tonight. Chuck, you got your stick back. Yeah, you ain't going to score. Your stick is
Chuck had his stick back.
How you know? Because I played hockey. You a damn lie. Skate hockey, not on ice. Oh, street hockey. See what I'm saying? There you go, Shaq. You got the angle.
I don't feel comfortable commenting on this.
What are you doing?
Why is that?
Because of that right there.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Because of that right there. Because these are some of the best athletes in their craft of all time, and dude just took a slap shot that went 90 degrees the wrong way.
Right. Well, I always
with the
love
stick facing the wrong way, the blade facing the wrong way.
I always love sports crossovers where you watch some of the greatest athletes at one sport play another sport, and they look like complete idiots. Like I remember seeing Neymar try and swing a baseball bat, and just looking like a 6-year-old trying to swing a baseball bat. Like it's amazing to watch the different, legends in different sports try other things and just completely fail at them.
Basically, what happened was Charles Barkley had the wrong-handed stick. So if he was a
he was
right-handed
shooting lefty, but he had a righty stick.
Yeah. So basically, he was on his forehand with a backhand in that situation,
and the puck went way that way.
Yeah, it looked like one of my golf shots.
So is nicely done.
Yeah.
So is the moral of the story stay in your lane?
No, this is not a shut up and dribble situation. No, it's not staying in your lane. You can try out new stuff.
Okay.
But know what you're doing.
I want to see a better effort from Shaq in goal. I want to see somebody who knows what they're doing shooting on Shaq. Just because he's so big.
But he didn't have the right stick either.
No,
we can finally prove whether or not if you just put a giant person in goal,
with sumo,
they could just do a great job.
What was that commercial?
The walrus, the Geico. That's a great commercial. That is a good commercial.
Yeah,
Interspecies.
That's the only situation where I think you can put something large, non-athletic in the net and it'd be okay. Oh man, I'm trying to remember what his name was, like Wally or Ricky or something. Like, way to go, whatever.
No. Okay. I thought I was going to end my streak of shit talking the Islanders because they rostered a racist. But apparently not, because they had a little bit of news, and this is actually good news. I'm not shitting on them for this one because they fired their general manager and team president, Lou Lamoriello.
Yay, facial hair wins!
Facial hair wins. So Anthony Duclair, you can grow your hair out. He had to shave his dreads off because of that archaic rule that the Islanders had.
It's going to take him, another year to grow them back? It took him 5 minutes to fire Lou.
Yeah, it's going to take like 2 years to get those dreads back.
Oh, man.
So, Anthony Duclair, you can grow your hair out, brother.
Is he get another job?
No.
He'll get a job. I was listening to 32 Thoughts. He'll get a job as an advisor somewhere just because he's Lou Lamoriello and he's a name.
So
and
like
hockey
Dale Talon.
recycles people.
Exactly.
He'll get a job just in some front office as an advisor, quote unquote, and he'll
collecting a paycheck.
fade into irrelevancy.
Bullshit.
As long as it's not like an advisor role where he can advise people not to shave.
I highly doubt he gets a GM job again for sure, though, especially with the way that things went in New York this year.
Can you imagine like he's sitting in the back of like a hockey ops meeting and they're all going over the season to come and he's in the back and he's like, I have a suggestion. Maybe they shouldn't shave. And for the first time, everybody can just be like, anybody else?
Never again.
No new business?
Never.
Moving on.
All right, let's go to our wins and fails of the week presented by Jägermeister. Serve it cold or don't serve it at all. Jägermeister. Damn, that's cold. For more, visit Jägermeister.com. Drink responsibly. David?
Roy? My win of the week, I have 2 wins of the week, actually. My first one, similar to last week, it's for all of us. We are all winners. And
every week we are all winners.
Well, if we can share the love, all the better. But this, for me, this was my welcome to the playoffs moment. The playoffs started last weekend. The Panthers didn't play for 4 days. But in the span of what felt like 10 minutes the other night, the Oilers came back from like a 1,000,000-goal deficit to tie the game in Los Angeles. Then the Kings win the game with like a minute to go after the Oilers just came back on them. And all this is happening while Colorado and Dallas are playing one of the most exciting overtimes that we'd seen in the playoffs so far. And granted, it's early, but it was a very exciting overtime. Dallas ended up winning the game. Their fans are going crazy. It was a kind of an upset win because they hadn't won in forever, and Colorado is really good right now. Just that whole sequence of about 10, 15 minutes in real time, I was so excited on my couch.
It wasn't even 10 to 15 minutes. It was like 4 minutes.
Yeah,
and I missed it,
like.
all of it, because I was watching in bed, falling asleep, up way too late on a Tuesday night or whatever it was.
You're like 22 years old.
No, it was
way
too late. I was exhausted the next day. Exhausted. But it was worth it because you go from I'm watching Dallas and Dallas and Colorado because I think the other game's over. Then I hear the other game's tied. Now I hear the other team takes the Kings take the lead again. So I switch over to that, and by the time I get back to Dallas and Colorado, Dallas scores. The game's over. Missed all of it.
You have a second win, Dave?
I do have a second win. Earlier this week in Los Angeles, the first 2 games, national anthems, big story obviously now, lately a little bit controversial with everything that the U.S. and Canada. What is it called? The harmonica class of the Koreatown Senior and Community Center of Los Angeles.
Wow, that's a long title.
They did their own rendition in harmonica of the anthem. We don't have the audio for fear of getting clipped on YouTube, but I will tell you, it is divisive. Some love it, some don't. But the fact that everybody was talking about it, the fact that it was just a universally seemed to be enjoyed thing, except for some people who maybe didn't like how it sounded. But I mean, who cares? It brought everybody together. People were smiling. People were enjoying it. The fans were singing it like crazy. It just was a fun thing, I thought. Even if I wasn't crazy about how it sounded, I thought it was just the whole cool thing was...
The fans got to sing it.
The fans got so into it, and that's what gets me into it. It's like any kind of fan interaction. So I thought that was a win.
Rosie.
I'm going for a win now that we're talking about this because LA is winning against Edmonton, so we don't have to fly to Edmonton and don't say anything, Ethan. Thank you very much.
Don't jinx
it's only
it,
2
Rose.
games.
Don't jinx it. Yeah,
I know.
The Oilers were down 3-0 in the Cup final last year. You had to go to Edmonton twice.
Right now, I'm liking what I'm seeing, so I'm gonna go, and those are my wins.
Rose is high in the Kings.
Beautiful puck.
All right, my win of the week. I got 2 of them. First, the IIHF Women's World Championship ended with Freebird being played in Czechia.
Yes.
Tessa Janicki ended up scoring the golden goal in overtime for the United States to beat Canada 4-3 in Czechia. So they got the goal. Congratulations, ladies. That is excellent for you. Really happy for you. So shout out to the United States Women's Hockey Club.
Don't you love a good stick toss into the crowd celebration?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Was it Jack Hughes that did that first?
Yeah, I think so.
Love that.
Yeah, that was great. My second win of the week is from the Carolina Hurricanes Twitter department, social media team. On Easter Sunday, Carolina beats the New Jersey Devils 4-1 to go up 1-0 in the series. They now lead 2-0. And the Hurricanes went on Twitter, currently known as X, and posted the following message: "Not today, Satan."
That's so good.
That was on Easter Sunday.
Even better because they were mad that they had to play on Easter Sunday. The Hurricanes, they thought it was unfair to them and their fans. Amazing tweet.
Yeah. Ethan.
My win of the week goes to Matthew Tkachuk, guys. It was so great to see him back on the ice, but for this specific reason. So Jake Gensel scores the goal to make it 1-1 early in, this is going back to game 1 on Tuesday night. So after he scores while Matthew Tkachuk is in the penalty box, right? And after he scores, Chucky's coming out of the penalty box and he chirps him. Gensel yells right over at him, says something to him. So what does Matthew Tkachuk do? He responds with not one, and a beautiful goal here on Vasilevsky, but 2 goals to make it 5-1 Panthers. And then in game 2, after everything went down with Brandon Hagel, he's chirping Brandon Hagel and he's saying, "No, I don't care about you," and pointing at Nikita Kucherov, who obviously slew-footed him earlier in the year. We'll see what kind of response the Panthers have in Game 3, but I absolutely love Chucky answering back the chirps with 2 goals and then getting the last laugh in Tampa last night.
All right, fails of the week, David.
All right, my fail of the week, we are going to Toronto. Ridley Gregg of the Ottawa Senators.
That's where usually the fails happen in Toronto.
Look at you.
Hey, listen, I'm tripping.
He was trying to get in the kitchen of Anthony Stolarz, our old friend Stoli the goalie, who is doing amazing for Toronto. And Stoli was having none of it. He was hacking him, checking him, pushing him in the back, gives him a slash to the midsection, just get out of my crease. And then, after we think it's over, Greg for some reason, tries to go back through the crease on his way out of the zone, and Stolarz just gave him a back shoulder and knocked him square on his ass. I support goalies protecting their homeland. The crease is their space. I am all for Anthony Stolarz doing this. I thought that was great. Ridley Gregg does a fail on you. Stay out of the crease, buddy.
Yeah. My fail of the week is this guy. Apparently, he can't decide whether he's a Panthers fan or a Lightning fan because he took two separate Panthers jerseys and two separate Panthers jersey and a separate Lightning jersey, cut them in half and sewed each half together with the other one. It looks ridiculous.
And he's number 69?
Yeah, it was they were custom jerseys, by the way. The player number was 69, and the name on the back was Dougie Fresh. And you know what that means? There are two versions of this jersey. Because the Panthers half said Dougie and had 6. The Lightning half had Fresh and 9. So that means that there's another half that has the Lightning portion that says Dougie and 6, and the Panthers version that has Fresh and 9.
Well, that makes sense.
That's loser mentality.
If that one gets dirty, he can go to his backup.
Whatever, man. I mean, he spent $500 on 2 jerseys just to ruin both of them.
It's a weird look. It's, for all the years of Panthers Lightning hockey, I don't think I'd ever seen that before. It's a weird look.
I've seen bad Panthers jerseys. I've seen a fake jersey from China with DeSantis on the back of the jersey, and that's equally as bad as that, basically, in my humble opinion. Ethan.
All right, my fail of the week goes to Evan Bouchard, and I'm going to tell you why here. This goal that he lets up to Quinton Byfield, Game 2 was a massacre by the Los Angeles Kings. Byfield walks right in. Now, a lot of people are saying you got to blame Darnell Nurse here because it's his responsibility to pick up Byfield, and Bouchard's just cutting off the passing lane. But you can't just let your guy skate right in on your goalie and have a point-blank opportunity like that, in my opinion. Like, I understand that if Byfield gets the pass off and Bouchard steps towards him, that he's going to get the flack for not taking away the passing lane. But ultimately, they let your guy walk right by you. You got to try and make a play and put some pressure on Byfield, because even if he does go for that pass, at least maybe your stick is right there to block it away. I thought that was poor effort from Evan Bouchard, and it's just a bad look just watching a guy skate right in on Stuart Skinner like that.
Rosie.
And my fail of the week, if you can see, is this man is wanted because of what he did to Barkey. So whoever gives me, there's a big reward. So, yeah, that is my fail of the week.
All right, for those on DKN, we have Adnan Virk coming on next. You can watch that on YouTube. You can log on to the Batard Show YouTube page and click on playlists and click on our show. You can watch the rest of the show there. We got Adnan Virk coming up next.
Hey, you in the audience, it's Mike. You've been a fan of this show, hopefully, for a long time, and you know how much Miller Lite means to me. This partnership, it's real. It's documented. For almost 20 years, Miller Lite has been a partner of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, and now Miller Lite is celebrating its 50th anniversary. I've had so many great moments with Miller Lite, so many great activations, so many great events presented by Miller Lite, a great partner. Cheers to them. Cheers to 50 incredible years. And for you at home, you know that Miller time always means a good time. From game night to parties with friends or a special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great-tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Now's a perfect time to celebrate legendary stories with friends, family, and a great-tasting light beer. It's Miller time. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
All right, we are joined by Adnan Virk. He is the studio host of Prime Monday Night Hockey. And right now, I just want to start with this. We had John Ortiz.
Yeah.
We all know from Bad Monkey. We've seen him in Carlito's Way.
He's been in everything.
He's been in
so much.
Very good character actor.
Too Fast, Too Furious. Wasn't he the bad guy?
Yeah, he was in that movie as well. Now, he came on and he talked about Carlito's Way. and how he acted with Pacino. He said that Pacino had to leave to attend the 1993 Academy Awards ceremony for the movies of 1992. And he gave a trivia question to me. Well, not just to me, but to the entire Batard show. And this is how it sounded.
Pacino needed to fly to L.A. For the Oscars. He was nominated for 2 that year.
Roy, go ahead and take your guess.
A Scent of a Woman.
Roy.
Scent of a Woman is what he has guessed.
But there's 2.
Roy, he's trapped you because the difficult one was not the first one. You jumped into the breach. You're like, I got it, Dan, and then you had no number 2.
Glenn Ross.
Good guess.
So he was wrong. I was right. And I have Adnan Virk to confirm that. Isn't that right, Adnan?
Roy, I'm screaming at my phone. I'm like, no, Roy is right. Roy is right. Like this, I don't know a lot of things, fellas, but I know Al Pacino and Oscar nominations. He's had 8 Academy Award nominations, and I vividly remember, in 1992, I get choked up when Al finally won for Scent of a Woman. But I'm going to go see Glenn Ross this weekend. It's my favorite play.
Awesome.
It's the third time I've seen it on Broadway. It's amazing, Dave. I saw it like 15 years ago with Liev Schreiber and Alan Alda in the main.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. I saw it 7 years ago with Pacino playing Shelley Levine, which is, of course, the Jack Lemmon role, and Bobby Cannavale playing Ricky Roma. Now I'm getting Kieran Culkin as Ricky Roma, Bob Odenkirk as the Shelley the Machine Levine, and we get a little Bill Burr. But to Roy's point, I go, no, that's absolutely right. I remember watching Siskel and Ebert, and Ebert kept saying he should win for Ricky Roma. That's actually the better movie, the better performance. Mamet, Pacino, etc. Everybody's going to win for Lieutenant Colonel Frank Slade. So I immediately text Roy, I'm like, hey, you're right. Like, he owes you an apology. And I've actually interviewed John Ortiz. He's a great guy. He's one of the few guys, fellas, that actually have his number. So I texted Roy first to go, hey, you're absolutely right. Dick Tracy's 1991, just to be clear. And I texted John Ortiz. Awesome job in the Batard story. He's like, yeah. He's like, hey, man, make sure you check out my baseball doc. It'd be great. And I wrote back, yeah, listen, I'm going to try to get you on MLB Network. I didn't realize that this baseball thing going through the pipeline, as Jess mentioned on that show. His son's name is Clemente. But Roy, I didn't pull the trigger. I want to then follow up and go, hey, just for the record, you were wrong. Roy's right. You owe him an apology. And then maybe you won't believe me, but then I can send a screenshot. 1993 Academy Awards. Look, there's Al nominated for Best Actor, and there he is for Supporting Actor. I can even tell you that Gene Hackman beat him in 1992 for Supporting Actor.
Well, you got his phone number.
Roy.
You can still pull that trigger.
Roy.
But Roy, how do you do that with Ethan, how do you do that in a delicate manner? I don't know him that well. I want to say, hey, great job. Would like to interview you. By the way, you're wrong. You owe Roy an apology.
Maybe
like,
just
It's a tough spot. I don't interact with celebrities very often, Adnan, so I don't have much advice
I am a celebrity,
with
so
no
what
context.
are you talking about?
No, Adnan, just send him this 60-second clip with no context and just see what he says.
Great idea, Dave. Just with no context.
With
I'll
like
clip it
heart
for,
emoji.
I'm going to clip this for social. Send him the Instagram reel that we put out.
Yeah,
By the
add
way,
him on Twitter.
Roy was
John
right.
Ortiz.
Adnan, let's do a video where we go
Right,
meet all the celebrities that we can.
Oh, for crying out loud,
Oh, come on.
Rose.
Let's do it.
No, let's not do
No,
that.
I got a better idea, Adnan. How about you and I do Broadway revival reviews? Let's just.
Oh, the producers. Yeah, go ahead and do that.
Adnan, I have one more.
Dolls now on Broadway. David and Adnan, go check it out.
Let's go.
We have one more movie question for you before we get to hockey. Roy claims to have never seen Toy Story or an episode of Friends. Do you believe him?
Listen, I'm with him on Friends. I've also never seen an episode. Way to go, Roy. I mean,
You've never come across an
Never.
episode just glance.
I've come across and flipped and gone, oh, Friends, I hate this show. Keep going. Not in.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, I've come across. I've not seen an episode. I've not seen a scene of it. I've seen 10 seconds, perhaps. Going, okay. Oh, there's Jennifer Aniston. That's when she had the Rachel haircut. Like, I know these things as a pop culture guy, but I'm like,
Well,
I
you know
don't.
the
watch-
Rachel
not
cut.
interested. I know the Rachel cut. I know Schwimmer. I know Matthew. Listen, I read Matthew Perry's book, Rose, because he's Canadian, so I read his book, so I know things about Friends.
Yeah.
But like Roy, I've never watched an episode of Friends. Never. More shocked for Toy Story, especially because Roy has a daughter, and Toy Story is pretty epic. Roy, I would get on it. It's a great movie.
All right,
What
I'll
if
get
I?
on that.
What if I?
And by the way, we talked about earlier, normally sequels are not good. There's a rare one that the Toy Story 3 might be the best, actually, of the 4 of them. Toy Story 3, magical ending. One might say profound, Rose.
I like Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
Well, wait, real quick. Just Adnan. Seinfeld?
Love Seinfeld, Dave, without question. That was my jam. And listen, Dave, like it's like with sports, you go, okay, I'm either Panthers or Lightning. I go, no, I'm a Seinfeld guy. If we're gonna have 2 shows in the '90s, must-see TV, all white casts, living in New York City, I'm taking Jerry and the Friend over those friends. I don't want those friends.
I'll take
Not
the
a-
reality, the realistic friends over the ones that seem to, everybody's getting along. They're fooling around with each other, but it's not getting awkward. Like, no.
Okay, so as part of the hockey club, there's going to be a watch party. And you all have to be part of the watch party. And we're going to watch a Friends episode all together.
Oh, Rose, please don't do that to me. Me and Roy have gone this far in life without doing it. That would be so
At least, like, we'll make them watch the episode where they go to the Rangers game. No, where they
the
go
apartment
to,
episode.
Is that the episode?
No, the one where they trade apartments. It's really funny. That's a
We
great
gotta
episode.
watch the one that
They go to the
a hockey
Rangers
game.
really funny, though,
Yeah.
Ethan.
Yes, it's funny.
All right, we have talked entirely way too much about
anybody
Friends.
still here for hockey talk?
Let's go into the Stanley Cup
Toy Story.
playoffs, please. All right, it's been a disaster for the Edmonton Oilers, and I'm saying that fully with the knowledge of the fact that the Oilers came back on the Panthers and forced Game 7 in the previous Stanley Cup final. I know they had the ability to come back, but right now it's just looking like Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. Their goaltending is bad. They can't protect the puck. The defense is terrible. That's how it's been versus the Los Angeles Kings, who for the fourth time in a row are playing each other in the first round. Will the Oilers come back in the series?
I don't think so, Roy. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be a sweep, but I think when you take a 2-0 stranglehold on a series, generally speaking, it's lights out. I know it's hockey. Things change. You go to home ice. You can't call it serious. Every team's playing at home. But this Kings team on paper, I called them to win in 6, and you mentioned specifically the reason why the Oilers back end. Without Ekholm, he's such a difference maker. Without him for the first round of the playoffs, the goaltending's never been airtight. I think Kemper's clearly an advantage there for Los Angeles. And LA has more depth and consistency. It makes me think about the 2004 NBA Finals, those great signs, and the Pistons beat the Lakers. The Pistons, of course, had Ben Wallace, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups. The Lakers had Shaq and Kobe. And the sign said, hey, and I'm not a poker guy, but a full house beats a pair of aces. And that's what I think with the Kings. I go, hey, a full house. They've got a talented team top to bottom. That beats the pair of aces of McDavid and Draisaitl. And honestly, if LA doesn't win this series, fellas, fourth straight year, like you said, Roy, to be up 2-0, you might as well just go ahead and cancel the franchise. Just go ahead and move and just say we're done. If we can't beat these guys the fourth time in a row, and this time with home ice, and clearly feeling like the favorite, then it's ball game. Luke Robitaille's been fun. See ya. But I think they win. I think Jim Hiller's a good coach. I do not think they put their foot off the gas. Oilers win Game 3, but Kings in 6.
I'll say this. Last year, when the Kings were down, or the Oilers were down 2-0 and then down 3-0 in the Stanley Cup final, there were signs of life, right? Like, there were good games. They played good games, but the Panthers just kind of got them at the end of a couple of those games. There are no signs of life from the Oilers after Game 2, really. Like, Game 1, you saw McDavid. He willed his team back into it. He had 4 points. But I just kind of think that in Game 2, you saw a shift. Now there's a goalie controversy because they made the change for Pickard in Game 2. It just feels like there's not... This is LA's year. Like, it just feels like they finally have it right. All the recipes this year.
This is their year to get out of the first round. This is
By
their
the way,
year.
Dave, to your point, I just saw a great documentary with the Hartford Whalers. And as Roy knows, having been at ESPN for 9 years, I lived in Connecticut the whole time there. I'm like, God, I wish the Whalers were here. There's no sports teams here. But when the Whalers actually won a round, as you guys know, they're in the Adams division. 1 year, John Forson, who's the great play-by-play man for Amazon Prime and was the voice of the Whalers, they had the 7th best record in hockey. They were only 4th in their division. That's how good the Adams division was. They always lost the Bruins and the Habs. The 1 year they actually won a round, they held the parade. They won one round, and they held the parade in Connecticut. They should do that.
That's the original Nashville Predators right there.
All right, in Toronto, there was a situation. There was a hullabaloo. There was a whole bunch of penalties that happened in the first round, the first game of the first round, and apparently the referee Garrett Rank needed a little bit of help to list off all the penalties that happened during the game.
Original penalty on the ice to Toronto, number 89, 2 minutes for high sticking. Ottawa, number 15, has 2 minutes for roughing. And then Toronto, number 2, 11, 25, 74, and 89 have 2 minutes for roughing. And then Ottawa, 43, 15, 22, 33, and 81 have 2 minutes for roughing. We're going to play 4-on-4.
And it's been that way throughout the entire series. There have been a lot of penalties going on in that series. So what do you think is going to happen? Because it seems like the Maple Leafs have a stranglehold against the Senators right now.
Well, kind of what Ethan was referring to there with the Oilers. Like, when you go down, they haven't looked good. For the Senators, what's frustrating is that 2 of these games have been overtime games. It's not like the Leafs have choked the life out of them, and yet they have, because now it's a 3-0 series. So I really wish Ottawa had at least won one of those games. Again, if you don't have a dog in the race, I just want as much hockey as possible. I called Sens in 7. I now look moronic, so I'm very annoyed at the Ottawa Senators and their fan base and Brady Tkachuk and all the rest of it. But The big key here, guys, has been special teams. I mean, you nailed it, Roy. The fact that you mentioned the penalties, the Leafs are 5 for 9 on the power play. They have not had their big guns be well in the power play in the past. A heck of a pass by Mitch Marner in that game 3 last night to Austin Matthews. If your stars are clicking on the power play, I mean, there's no way you're going to lose this game. Jack Michaels is the voice of the Oilers. I was asking about the Oilers' power play against the Kings in the playoffs the last 3 years prior to this year. It was over 40%. Like, it's just a crazy number. And even Chris Knobloch had said to me a couple weeks ago, it's going to come down to special teams. So it's always so valuable in the playoffs. I think people often say, well, there's less penalties called. It's not as important. Well, no, there's less penalties called. Yeah, but there's less goals scored. So when you get the opportunity, you got to make the most of it. The Leafs have. Ottawa hasn't shut them down. Leafs up 3-0. It's probably going to be a sweep.
So I want to stay with this series for a second, Adnan, but something that happened off the ice that I thought was kind of funny. I wanted to get your take on it. After the Leafs scored, and I think it was game 1, there was a shot of their bench celebrating. The coaches were really into it. Particularly Mark Savard, the assistant coach, was like fist pumping. And then Craig Berube kind of gave him a little elbow to the chops and was like, hey, simmer down now. Simmer down. I don't really know what to think of this. I never thought there was a big deal of coaches celebrating. I mean, we've had Paul Maurice literally give Jamie Tompon a gut punch after Matthew Tkachuk scored the goal against Carolina a couple of years ago in the conference final. Do you think this is a thing that coaches need to behave themselves, or is this more of a Berube, like his own kind of thing?
I think it's Berube's thing, and I love Chief. He's a great guy. He's one of the biggest reasons why I think you like the Leafs to be different this year, because he's a iron-willed, hard-nosed coach that the players do enjoy playing for him. He won the Stanley Cup, obviously, as you know, 5 years ago, the Blues. So I think it's more Chief, old-school, disciplinarian. I got no issue with it. I like when the coaches get fired up. Dave, it's one of my favorite shots when the team wins the Stanley Cup, that cut to the coach. Of course, your guy's favorite, Paul Maurice. Yep. Who doesn't love him? He's a quote machine. He's a lovable guy. When they won, that shot of Mo pumping his fist and fired up, I got emotional just seeing it. So I'm with you, man. When people are excited, want to exalt, I don't care if it's game 1 of the playoff, or game 3, or it's game 7. I think it's okay. And for coaches, I don't like this Barry Sanders, hey, I could get in there before. Like, it's okay. Be excited. You're the coach.
Adnan, I don't know if you saw this press conference earlier this week, but Jim Rutherford of the Vancouver Canucks, this was really interesting. I want to play the sound first, and then I want to get your reaction to it.
Down to money with him. You know, he said before he wants to play with his brothers, and that would be partly out of our control, in our control, if we brought his brothers here. So there's many moving parts here. Agree 100%. This franchise cannot afford to lose a guy like Quinn Hughes, and we will do everything we can to keep him here. But at the end of the day, it'll be his decision.
I love this awkward pause here as everybody kind of sorts out what just happened.
Well, we got to be careful with tampering here, so we'll just leave it at that.
Careful with tampering.
What do we make of that, and how hellish of an offseason is Quinn Hughes in for after his GM throws him under the bus like that?
Pretty big mess there, Ethan. I mean, in Vancouver, it's amazing. A year ago, they're a team that, hey, maybe they can push towards the Stanley Cup finally. Had a great run. Talking feels like the right coach. They've got star talent. They've got a great goalie in Demko. And then Demko's not healthy. JT Miller and Elias Pettersson hate each other. They trade Miller. Pettersson stinks. He's wildly overpaid. $11.6 million is outrageous. Doesn't feel like Rick Tocchet wants to be the coach there anymore. And then you got Jim Rutherford, whose press conferences all over the place. And God forbid if they lose Quinn Hughes, fellas. I got to be able to watch him here in Jersey. We had one of the games on Prime. And like the whole time, you're just drawn to him. Your eyes are transfixed on him because he's so fast and so skilled. And then I watched the Avalanche game the next week and got to see Cale Makar in person. So you cannot lose Quinn Hughes no matter what. And if they lose him, I couldn't imagine what's already kind of a negative fan base, fellas, in Vancouver would get even more pessimistic and more negative. Jim Rutherford seems like he's almost running a rudderless ship. I know he's done a lot of great things in hockey, but that was not a great look for him.
The New Jersey Devils in that series against the Carolina Hurricanes is over. Like, it was over before it even started. I mean, the Devils right now might as well be playing with casts and slings and Band-Aids right now because they are so hurt. Look, if the Hurricanes gift them a game, it will be a gentleman's sweep. What do you think, Adnan? What do you think?
By the way, I love the expression of gentleman's sweep. The other day somebody asked me, they goes, does that mean if you lose the game 1, they get swept? I'm like, yeah. They go, kind of like it. I'm like, yeah, underrated but accurate. I'm with you, Roy. On our podcast, NHL Unscripted, me and Jason DeBeers were going through each series just as you guys did. And when we got to Canes Devils, I told him I couldn't care less. You have 1 minute to discuss this. He's like, what? I go, I don't care. I'm like, hockey fans care. I'm not going to be watching it. If the Knicks are playing, I'll watch the Knicks game instead. Couldn't care less. So I'm with you. Carolina's going to win. The only thought Demers had was, Markstrom could steal a game. I'm like, nope, nobody cares. They don't have their star players. And the Jersey, the second half was a much different story for Sheldon Keefe and his team. Carolina will move on, and they're a team that hasn't had playoff success, as you guys know. The the thought with Carolina is they're always very good, not great. Don't have a star player, can elevate. They're going to beat the Devils, and who knows what happens after that.
The news update just dropped just to make it worse for the Devils. Neither Brendan Dillon or Luke Hughes will play in Game 3 tonight.
Well, you can count that as an L.
I'm excited for this, though, because the idea of like a big, exciting game in Montreal, playoff hockey with fans in the building, which they didn't have on their last run when they went to the final during COVID, like that. This is, for me, if there's an upset, I want it to be here. I want to see the Bell Center or
Centre Bell.
So stupid.
Okay. People who have actually
so
been there
Canada
can call it what it's called, Centre Bell.
Oh, my God, dude. All right.
Moving on here. The New York Islanders.
To Dave's point, though, I agree. Like, people ask me, do people in America care about Canadian teams? So if you like hockey, you like hockey. Montreal's won 24 Stanley Cups. It's a historic, prestigious franchise, and it's the best arena to go to. If there's one game to go to, it is Le Centre Bell, as Ethan is informing us.
Do we say croissant or do we say croissant whenever we order one, guys? Like, what are we doing here?
Finally,
go Habs go.
Finally, and I said that the Islanders fired him. They did not fire him. They're not going to renew his contract. Lou Lamoriello. I mean, they're not going to rehire him.
They didn't fire him before his contract was over. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry.
What are your thoughts on the Islanders moving on from the team president / general manager?
So Lou's the kind of guy, Roy, like it's my way or the highway. It's really done a lot of great things. Hall of Famer, obviously, very important in terms of bringing Russian players to the NHL. Slava Fetisov way back in the day. In this instance, and I work with Thomas Hickey on Prime. Thomas does like 70 Islanders games. He goes, Lou's the kind of guy, like he's certainly disciplinarian and no beards and all the rest of it, which is kind of outdated, but whatever. When he got there, they were a team that needed improvement. He got that. They had back-to-back Final Fours. To me, that's impressive. Lost to Lightning both times. The Lightning went on to win the Stanley Cup. But now, I mean, that second half fave, particularly the last 20 games, was abysmal. I don't know if Patrick Waugh wants to be the head coach there. I don't know if he wants to be the GM. He's done that before. I think that's different when you're the GM of a junior team versus an NHL team. It's kind of like Nick Saban going to the NFL. Doesn't always work. I asked Hicks, do the players like Waugh? He said, I think they like him because he's Patrick Waugh. I don't know if necessarily he's a great coach. But I think Lou's the kind of guy like it just kind of runs its course. What I'm fascinated about is he go anywhere else? I don't think anyone else is going to give him the job. He's in his early 80s, looks great for his job. Is he an advisory type guy? No, I think Lou kind of wants to be the job. I don't think he wants to be like an advisor. So I don't know what happens next for Lou Lamoriello and for the Islanders. Another issue, Roy, their farm system is terrible in Bridgeport. Like they don't have any stars in that team. So it's, I think, a little bleak right now for the Islanders. They try to turn this thing around.
All right, we still have Adnan to talk about the Florida Panthers and their series against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and we will get to that next.
Folks, the NBA 82-game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DAN. That's code DAN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
I think you're on mute.
Workday's starting to sound the same.
I think you're on mute.
Find something that sounds better for your career on LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Job Collections, you can browse curated collections by relevant industries and benefits, like flex PTO or hybrid workplaces, so you can find the right job for you. Get started at linkedin.com/jobs. Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
We return with Adnan Virk as we talk about the Panthers and we go over the first two games of their series against the Tampa Bay Lightning. But before we do that, the entire threshold of the series, we're going to talk about this hit by Brandon Hagel on Aleksander Barkov, which was absolutely interference. And it was the right call on the ice. They gave it a major so they could review it. And that they did, and they decided to give it a major. They did not give it a game misconduct because, according to Dave Jackson, who was on Twitter, he's usually the know-it-all for the officials for ESPN. He said that it wasn't apparent that there was an injury on the ice.
Poor Bark.
And that's why they didn't give Hagel a game misconduct. They just gave him a major, and the Panthers ended up with about 4/16 of uninterrupted power play on that because it was a 4-on-4. So that was the situation last night. Aleksander Barkov, we hope will be fine enough to play Game 3.
Probably get an update here in real time very soon. Paul Maurice is going to speak to the media as we record this pretty soon. So by the time you're listening to this, you may already know. Hopefully, good news on Barkov. Go back to last year, Roy, during the Stanley Cup final when Barkov got lit up by Leon Draisaitl at the end of Game 2.
Yeah.
Panthers were up 2-0 in the series, and you and I were salty as hell afterwards.
I was pissed.
Because we thought, okay, we're going back to Edmonton, and they just lost their captain.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's okay.
Now we can play the video again because I want to show everybody why this was interference. McDonough touched the puck, all right? Barkov did not touch the puck. He was going towards the fetch the puck, and the puck was nowhere near him, and that's when Hagel ended up slamming him to the ice. That was clear-cut interference. The puck was nowhere near.
That's a nasty hit.
It's a nasty hit.
That angle right there from behind the net where you can actually see how far away the puck was, and it was right in front of their field of vision, that's not a good look for Hagel.
It was right in front of the referee, too.
Hagel's got a hearing today. Adnan, I'm curious if you think he'll get a 1-game suspension here.
Yeah, my colleague and friend Mike Johnson was fired up on NHL Network, and I thought he was great. You know, the first time I saw it, guys, I'm like, oh, what a great hit. We all love great hits. And then once Johnny explained it very carefully, and kind of the point that Roy made, which is that Barkov didn't touch the puck. That is interference, absolutely, and that kind of hit is just vicious. And the more you watch it, it went from very quickly to, oh, what a great hit, to like, oh, what a dirty play. And Johnny made a great point, again, on NHL Network. He said, and that is absolutely a suspendable hit. And he goes, and I know it's the playoffs, and you got to maim a guy to get suspended in the playoffs. And I know Hagel's a great player and a great goal scorer, but that should be 2 games in the regular season. That's 1 game in the playoffs. And Barkov, as you guys know more than anybody, is such an invaluable player. He's always in the mix for the Selke. He brings so much to that Panthers team. I mean, this will be awful news if he's out for an extended period of time. So I like the rough stuff and the physicalities. But anybody, the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh, yeah, great hit. Then I'm like, no, that is brutal and a dirty, cheap play by Hagel. He should know better.
The importance of Barkov not being in the lineup, if that happens, which hopefully he will be in the lineup, is the Panthers lost their best penalty killer.
Well, their number 1 center, their best penalty killer, best defensive forward.
Their most
arguably best offensive forward. I mean,
Sam Reinhart.
Yeah,
top 5 player in the league.
Yeah, and you're going against a excellent power play with the Tampa Bay Lightning,
which the Panthers have done a great job of stifling so far, and hopefully that continues.
To Barkov.
Yeah,
thanks to Barkov.
I'll say
if you lose that's an important piece that you lose on your penalty kill.
I'll say this. A lot of the talk after the game is, the Panthers have got to go next game, and if Hagel plays, they got to light him up, or they got to go after Kucherov or whatever. None of that. In my opinion, like as a Panther fan, I want to see them play their game, just like kind of last year Boston tried to muck things up after the whole Brad Marchand, Sam Bennett stuff. You kind of just go out there, you play your game, you win the game, and you do your talking on the ice, and you just be the bigger man. And I just want to see the Panthers go out there, dominate Game 3, win, and basically put an end to the series by winning.
These players have long memories. They will remember that hit, and they will take care of that next season. But for right now,
there's bigger fish to fry. You got to win this. We're trying to win a Stanley Cup here. Bigger fish to fry.
They don't take care of this in this season?
It's the playoffs.
So they're not going to kick the guy?
If you kick the guy, you might slice him.
They're not going to put themselves in a short-handed situation.
Oh, come on. I'm gonna make a momentum.
Rose, they will take care of it. If he is a Lightning player, they will take care of it next season. If he is not a Lightning player, they will take care of it on whatever team he ends up on. They will play them. They will play them, and they will take care of him then.
Heck, makes no sense.
Thank you, Rose. Before we move on from this, Adnan, and thank you very much. I was going to paraphrase the Mike Johnson sound because I couldn't find good enough quality of it. I took it on my phone last night, and I was going to paraphrase it, but you did such an excellent job explaining how passionate he was. Thank you for that. Another one of our hockey journalistic buddies out there, Brian Boucher, who was on the call for TNT last night, he had some thoughts as well in the immediate moments after the hit. I want to play that for you and just kind of get your take. I was not a fan.
Trying to find a way to get an edge at any moment, and if you can remove a player from a series or a game, even if you have to come up with a 5-minute kill, perhaps that's what Hagel's thinking, and we'll see if his team can come up with the kill in this situation. But
sounded like it was kind of advocating, like coming up with like, oh well, maybe if this is what he was doing, and I don't know. I just think putting those thoughts out into the world in that moment is not the best thing.
Well, keep in mind, this was during postgame. It's not exactly what Boucher said, but Brad Marchand kind of said the same thing when Sam Bennett punched him in the face. Now, that was not what injured him in that series. It was him running into Gadjevich. But that's somewhat similar to what Brad Marchand said during that playoff series last season.
Listen, you can never advocate for vigilante justice, at least publicly, especially, and I like Brian Boucher. I think Boucher does a great job, but I'm like, especially as an analyst, I don't think you can say that. I mean, I understand the theory that whatever you need to do to win, if you need to take out their best player, you can. But there's a way to do that legally, there's a way to do that illegally. Yeah. And I wouldn't abide by doing it illegally. It's disappointing.
Let's talk about the actual series now, and the Panthers seem to have a stranglehold on it. Now, a lot of the media pundits have picked the Tampa Bay Lightning to go 6 or 7 and take the series, which absolutely pisses me off. Have you not seen the Panthers the last 2 seasons? Like, what are we doing here? Why? Like, now, granted, I did disrespect the Lightning, wondering why exactly they were here, but. Come on now. I mean, this is a Panthers club that obviously is, when they are at full strength, are much better than the Tampa Bay Lightning. And now they have a 2-game lead on Tampa. So where do you see this series going?
I'm very proud, Roy. I called the Panthers in 6. And obviously partial to you guys and partial to Paul Maurice and the fact that they made the Stanley Cup final back-to-back years. I'm like, no, I thought they were very smart and crafty and shrewd in terms of playing time down the stretch, that Mo realized, all right, I got to keep these guys healthy. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Let's do this the right way. I did not expect a 2-0 series lead, especially with both games at Amalie Arena, but I'm thrilled for the Panthers. And again, Jason DeBoer said to me, we were all wrong. I'm like, who's we? He's like, well, everyone was picking the Lightning. I go, I didn't. I called the Panthers in 6. So you can take your we and shove it.
Who's we?
Yeah, as a royal we, I go, well, not me. I picked the Panthers in 6. You can go check the tape on that. So I think he means every analyst on ESPN was definitely calling the Lightning, Roy. You're right. Most of the media were not, but you and I called the Panthers. To me, you're the champion until you get dethroned. And the Lightning certainly have talent up and down the lineup. I'm well familiar with it. I got Vasilevsky's exploits, but he wasn't good in game 1. I don't think he's going to steal this series. And I don't think the Lightning can win 4 or 5 games against the defending Stanley Cup champion. Not going to happen. Panthers in 6.
I also said Panthers in 6, and after that first game, you see the way the Panthers kind of dominate. I mean, the score line was dominant, but I thought the play on the ice was pretty dominant as well. Vasilevsky has an off game, and so after that game, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, what makes Tampa fans feel like this could be a long series other than, Vasilevsky's not going to play like that the rest of the series? Well, he played pretty great last night. I thought he was phenomenal in Game 2. He made some huge saves, bounced back after he let a soft one in early to Nate Schmidt. But the Panthers still won that game and completely shut down the offense. Nikita Kucherov, once again, nowhere to be found in this series. It just feels like the Panthers kind of right now have the Lightning's number after the last 2 seasons, and now they're up 2-0. They come home, and they get Aaron Ekblad back. This team hasn't been at full strength for 2 months since the Four Nations when Tkachuk went down, then they lost Ekblad. Now Tkachuk is back. Ekblad is coming back in the lineup. We'll see if they'll even be at 100% because we don't know if Barkov will be in the lineup. It just feels like everything is going the Panthers' way right now, and if they were going to steal a game, it was going to be that one last night. They didn't steal it. It's got to be disheartening for the Lightning.
And Ethan, the big return they had in game 1 is, of course, Matthew Tkachuk. He'd been out since his Four Nations. And to come back with that kind of performance, 2 goals and assists, great on special teams, hitting, banging. I'm like, there's a reason why the Tkachuks always bring passion, whether it's Brady or Matthews. So I'm with you. I think Florida was just, I wouldn't say crafty, but stealth. Again, Paul Maurice has been there before. He knew what he had to do, make sure the guys are clicking at the right time. Ekblad offers a severe emotional force. And yeah, is Vasilevsky a great goalie? Sure, he can win a game. To win a series, I don't see it.
I'm looking at the stats right now. 120 shot attempts for Tampa, and just about 41 shots on goal have gotten to Sergei Bobrovsky. The Panthers have been blocking shots this entire series. They have 38 blocked shots.
Yeah.
Like, the defense has been stifling, and they have been blocking shooting lanes, and that's pretty much why you haven't seen Kucherov, because he's not getting any good
Everything's been coming from the wings. Nothing's been coming from in front of the net. Like, even when they have dangerous chances, it's kind of not really right in front of the net, and Bobby's not having to do anything too difficult.
Penalty for time.
Yeah, we went over.
Right.
We went over when to actually go. So we're going to wrap up here. Adnan, thank you for joining us. You can find him as the studio host on Prime Monday Night Hockey. Thank you, Adnan.
You're the
Roy,
best.
Dave, Ethan, thank you so much. Rose, you had an ultimate question for me. We're going to do that private.
Rose, come on.
Yes,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have
Do it.
ultimate question, even if it doesn't go on the show. If they tell you that you can only talk hockey or movies, which one would you choose?
Oh, man.
I mean, it's always a funny question, but I answer it this way, Rose. I'm not a film critic who happens to like sports. I'm a sportscaster who happens to love movies. So the answer is hockey.
Well, can he watch hockey movies? Or does what's the crossover
Well, yeah, he can
there?
watch hockey movies, but he can only talk about one of them. Oh, okay.
I thought Adnan's answer was going to be baseball.
Can you believe?
Ethan, that's the right answer.
There you go.
Adnan, can you believe that none of the people in this building have seen Mystery Alaska?
Oh,
I
God.
saw Mr. What are you talking about? I saw it.
Except for Roy.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I knew Roy would definitely have his bona fides. So come on, Mystery Alaska, Russell Crowe, and our friend Steve Levy. We got to get on that. Okay, how about this? We'll do this. A watch party for Rose and Ethan to watch Friends, but then we have to watch Mystery Alaska first. And then Roy and I can find a way to leave.
Okay.
I'm in.
Okay, let's do that. And also, last question. Did you watch Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
I love that show, Rose. Yeah, I don't watch much TV, but I loved it because I love the 50s. I love that music. I love that era. I love Tony Shalhoub and everything he's in. So, yeah, Rachel Brosnan was amazing in that show. I loved it.
Oh, beautiful. There's a show that is from the creators of them.
Yes, ballet, competitive ballet. I read about that.
Have you watched it?
I haven't, to be honest. Again, I watch the show because I like the genre. So 50s comedy, Shalhoub. I don't believe any of that is involved with this show. So I'm probably not going to see it unless you tell me it's that good.
I recommend it.
Okay.
What I'm feeling right now is what Rose probably feels during our hockey.
The other 45
I'm just sitting
minutes
here
of
like
the
I'm
show.
sitting in front of a microphone. I have nothing to add. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that's
this
how it
must be
feels.
what Rose feels like.
Every time. But
all right.
recommended.
All right. So for Adnan Virk, for Rosie, for Ethan, for David Dwork, for Mike and Jason, my name is Roy Bellamy. Bye.
Folks, listen up. They're here and they're hot. Get ready because Jimmy John's is turning up the heat. After years of perfecting the cold sandwich, toasted sandwiches are finally here. Try one of their 3 all-new toasted creations. The Toasted Chicken Bacon Ranch, all-natural chicken, creamy home-style ranch, applewood smoked bacon, melted provolone, fresh veggies, all on a perfectly toasted French bread. Good God, does that sound delicious. Or the Toasted Roast Beef and Cheddar, premium roast beef, melty cheddar, creamy horseradish sauce, crispy fried onions, fresh veggies, golden toasted French bread. It just keeps getting better. And the Toasted Ultimate Italian, salami, capicola, smoked ham, applewood smoked bacon, melted provolone, shredded parmesan, fresh veggies toasted to perfection. Or take your favorite Jimmy John classics like the number 9 Italian Nightclub or the number 11 Country Club and get them toasted. Order now at jimmyjohns.com, on the Jimmy John's app, or stop by your local Jimmy John's today.
Hey, you in the audience, it's Mike. You've been a fan of this show, hopefully, for a long time, and you know how much Miller Lite means to me. This partnership, it's real. It's documented. For almost 20 years, Miller Lite has been a partner of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, and now Miller Lite is celebrating its 50th anniversary. I've had so many great moments with Miller Lite, so many great activations, so many great events presented by Miller Lite, a great partner. Cheers to them. Cheers to 50 incredible years. And for you at home, you know that Miller time always means a good time. From game night to parties with friends or a special anniversary, celebrating important occasions means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Cheers to 50 years of Miller Lite, the great-tasting light beer for people who love beer since 1975. Now's a perfect time to celebrate legendary stories with friends, family, and a great-tasting light beer. It's Miller time. Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.